Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. I love doing this. What can I say? And I love people with positive energy who are on their way to doing something good in spite of their own difficulties. I always tell people anybody that we see that is succeeding in life does not live with no problems. Anybody that has succeeded, has gone through difficulties, is going through difficulties. The only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people keep getting up and trying for a better thing tomorrow. And so that brings us to my next guest, Rose Kathy Handy. Welcome, Rose.
Thank you for having me.
This lady is another. I'm having a good afternoon with these powerful women. I should just live in their homes and feed off their energy. You know, when you wake up on those days and things are not good, you're like, Rose, can you come to my room? And then Rose will come and sprinkle me with some of their energy. But just knowing you, reading about you, seeing what you do in the community is inspiring enough for me.
Thank you.
I go on different websites and I read about different people and things like that. So I'm not going to talk too much because I want people to hear the words out of your own mouth. You're the CEO of Bilingual Inc. You're very involved in community. You're making a difference. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Bilingual Inc. and the fact that you know you have to be involved in community.
Well, like you said, I'm CEO of bilingualinc.com. It's a small company that promotes bilingual career opportunities. Mm-hmm. When I say bilingual, it's people who speak French and English. Mm-hmm. And we offer tools. We're not a placement agency or we don't do recruitment, even though we are in human resources. And we offer tools to connect employers and job seekers.
Okay.
I'm from Cameroon originally.
Okay.
And I'm a mother of two. Two beautiful daughters.
Right.
And I've been in Canada for a while. Next year it will be my 20th year in Canada. Oh. And I think it will be a great celebration.
It should be.
Yeah, and I can't wait.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bilingual Inc. is that's beautiful, beautiful story. Right now, I usually like to say that I'm glad that the services that we offer have been able to help over 30,000 people to find work or improve their life. Mm-hmm. And even though it's a great achievement, but there's still so much that I want to do, and I want to conquer the world.
Of course.
Go there and own every company.
Here's this lady from small Cameroon who wants to take over the world. I like that. Yeah. I have a feeling that the way you see the world is all in your mind.
Yes, in my mind, in my heart, in my hand,
in your soul.
Everywhere. Absolutely, absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah. So as I was researching about you, there was a time where you ended up in a shelter.
Yes.
And that is where the business idea popped up.
Yes.
And you worked it from there, please.
Yeah.
Give us a bit about that, because sometimes when people end up in shelter, they look down upon, or they look down upon themselves and things like that. So the message I want people to get in a shelter, seems like they're going to be in a shelter, have been in a shelter. I want them to look at you and understand that right there was a blessing, because you could have been on the street. So give us a bit about that and, everything.
Well, it was just that moment. Yes, when I'm saying that this company that I have has helped over 30,000 people to find work. And the beauty of all that is that all that started in a homeless shelter. And that's really where I got my first contract, in a homeless shelter. Yes, I find myself homeless. Mm-hmm. And I go around in the community talking about homelessness and talking about empowerment, talking about overcoming fear. Mm-hmm. And the reason behind that is also to let people know that homelessness is not just the guy that you see on the street. Sometimes it can be somebody in a suit that you see, and it can happen to anybody, contrary to what people think.
Yes.
I had a good job at Royal Bank. I was pregnant, about to give birth to my first child. I saved money, so I thought that I was saving money. I had a home. I was planning on going on to business later on, but not right away, because it's something that I think my parents probably raised me to be a business person. It's really something that is just in my DNA to be an entrepreneur. But it wasn't right away that I was planning on going on business. So I was pregnant, and I was 3 weeks overdue, and the doctor called that day, and I was sitting at home because I just had to wait every day. The doctor called, say that, well, it has been 3 weeks, we cannot wait anymore. You have to go to the hospital. We already booked an appointment.
Right.
As a mother, you know how it works.
I know, yeah.
And so my bag was already packed. I grabbed my bag. I called a taxi. The taxi is waiting for me outside. When the taxi called, say that they're outside. So I'm just on my way outside to go to the hospital. I open the door, and I find a note on my door. And I look at the note, I see something that looks official, but I have to go to the hospital.
Yes.
I don't have time to take care of that. I grab my bag, I go sit in the car, in the taxi. And when I open the letter, I see that it's an eviction note. And I don't understand why I have an eviction note. A note from a sheriff. And so I took the time to go to the hospital, and while I sitting in the hospital, I waited for them to check me in and all that. And now I read the note, and the note was clear that I had until 5 p.m. the next day to vacate the property. I don't understand. So I call the management, and I say, well, it must be a mistake, because I pay my rent every month. Well, I send money to pay the rent every month. So I shouldn't be giving an eviction, or probably there was a mistake there. So they say, no, there's no mistake. You haven't been paying your rent. And I don't even know how you stay in this apartment for that long, because for the history of it, you should have been out a long time ago. So I say it must be a mistake, because I send money every month. Yes, I'm pregnant. I didn't have time to run all over the place. And I send my baby's dad, I send him to pay the rent every month. And nothing, I don't understand, and I never check anything. Well, that's how the story just happened, and that's really how I ended up losing my house. But when I come out of the hospital, it turned out that it's not just my house that I lost, but my bank account was empty. It
was wiped out.
Completely. So I have no penny. I don't have a home to go back to, and I have a newborn baby in my hand.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that. Oh my goodness.
I don't want to imagine.
That's usually what I usually get. That's what I used to get. And my story has been all over the place since then in the news. And that's also what made me write the book.
Going from homeless to CEO.
Yes, because usually when I tell that story, people stop at that point. But when people stop at that point, what they get is, oh my God, they see me as a victim, they pity me and all that.
Right.
And in my book, there's a chapter there when I said, okay, don't pity me. Pity the other person.
Yes.
Why? Because in my book, what I wanted people to get is the story after, not the story before. But before
we go to the story after,
yes,
there may be somebody out there who is in the before,
yes,
as we speak.
Yes.
You've overcome.
Yes.
Right? Of course it wasn't. So when we stop you, when we're hearing your story, we stop you, we're thinking, here you are, new baby,
yes,
coming out of the hospital, no money, no home to go to. It almost stops your breathing.
Yes.
Right? So I know for a fact that there are women out there,
yes,
who are going through what you went through then.
Yes.
Give them a message before we go to the after.
The very first message that I give, and I even share that in my book, is my biggest mistake was trusting blindly. I know that you can love somebody, but even when you love somebody, we are all human beings. You cannot trust blindly. You have to listen to your guts and then double check. That thing of giving them and just trusting that, hey, this is my baby, this is his baby, nothing can happen. If I give money, he will go and pay. There were little drop little signs that were there that I should have taken the time to stop and then look deeper. And when you have, yes, I know. And I know, and that's how when they say that it's blind, I think it's more than blind. It's like,
It's
it's not
crippling.
just that, absolutely.
So
And
what you're saying is,
yep,
it's okay to be in love, to love someone, but don't lose your mind.
absolutely.
Have
Don't,
some, I don't know the word for it, but come on, don't lose yourself.
yeah, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't trust like everybody, that you have to start mistrusting
Just
your
don't lose
partners.
yourself.
But then when there is something, you have a little sign of something that doesn't make sense. Dig
Pause.
deeper and then double check. And then when you that's one thing. The second advice that I will give is like, yes, it can happen, but then when it happens, you're not alone. You shouldn't get
You're not
lost.
alone.
What helped me at that point is, before I find a shelter, I was using the resources. I started calling. The first thing that I mentioned that I did was call the management first of the
Right.
building, and
Of the
then said,
building.
hey, this is the situation. I don't understand. But when it turned out that is really real,
It's really
then,
real.
yeah, that is real. What I did is like get into a conversation with them.
With
And
the
then said, yes,
management.
with the
Okay.
management, talk to people around. Get
Talk
into
to
a
people.
conversation, say, this is what it is.
Open your mouth.
Yes, open your mouth.
Ask
Because
for
one
help.
thing that kills women the most is they don't speak up.
The silence.
And I was earlier this year, I was giving a keynote speech in Hamilton. And that's one of the things I was emphasizing, and because I was talking to women that help other women, all women that work in the status of women capacity.
Okay.
And I was saying that one thing that I've noticed that kill women the most is they stay quiet. They don't speak up. And usually sometimes the help that you need is just across the street or
It's
just in
just
front of you.
across
It's
the street.
just there. But if the people don't know about your situation, they can
How
offer
can they
help.
help you?
They cannot give a solution.
So where did you take the baby? Like when you
Yes.
came out of the hospital and now this is reality.
Yes.
Child, we have no home to go to.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, I started
Because I
calling
want people to
because,
pay attention.
yes, I find out.
I don't think anybody has to go into a mental institution. That's
No.
why I want this message to go out. Because
Yes.
sometimes the situation is so bad that it'll cripple you.
Yes.
And the next place you'll go is Center for Addiction and Mental Health.
Yes.
A few injections and a few pills,
Yeah.
and you're a zombie.
Yes.
So how do we avoid that? Not only
Speak
for
up.
women, even for men.
Yes.
Right.
It's really speak up. I wouldn't emphasize that enough, that speak up, talk to people around you.
Right.
Because some other people went through that. Some other people have the power to help you, to solve your situation. That doesn't mean that they will look down on you. Everybody needs help in life, no matter what people say. And I say even people who believe, even Jesus needed help.
Even
At one
Jesus
point,
needed help, dear
everybody
Lord.
needs help in life. Being in a position where you need help doesn't mean that you are beneath. Doesn't mean it's not going to demean you. It's not going to
No.
belittle you. It's just that that's what life is about. Giving hand, holding hand. You who are in that situation, I'm sure you've helped somebody in your
Before,
life.
yes.
And why wouldn't when you help somebody, did you look down that
No.
person? No. So when you're in that situation, you need to give other people the opportunity to be there for
To
you.
help you. That's
and so
amazing.
you need to speak up.
I
And
like the
need
way
to-
you put it.
Yes.
When you help somebody,
Yes.
give that person an opportunity
Yes.
to help you.
Yes.
Don't look at it as you're begging
Yes.
or you know what I mean? Look at it as an opportunity
Yes.
for that person to also give you a hand.
Yes, because
So-
we're in this life to move forward, to keep moving forward. And then if you get stuck in the situation you're in, you're not going to move forward.
No.
And you're not going to allow the other person to help you move forward. And for the other person to move forward, the person needs to do good deeds in life.
Yes.
And your situation might be the opportunity for somebody else
To move.
forward.
And you know,
so
as they
if you
say-
don't, if you keep it to yourself and you don't share that I am in this situation, I need help, it gets all of us stuck.
It gets all of us stuck. And you know, as they say, I know in my culture, the left hand washes the right,
Absolutely.
and the right hand washes the left.
Yes.
So fast forward to being in the shelter and having the courage. I always stress the word courage.
Yes.
Because I think courage should be in our DNA.
Yes.
Because I believe without courage, nothing we do will succeed.
Yes.
So now reality has hit.
Yes.
Here's a new baby. Certainly not what you dreamt about when you were a little
Absolutely
girl.
not.
You know, I'm sure you dreamt about 2 kids, the grass, the the
Yep.
thick lawn, and the dog, and all that nice stuff. But here you are in Canada, cold country.
Yep.
Baby, do you have family here?
Yes, I do. I have
Okay.
sisters here.
Okay. So baby, and now you're in the shelter.
Yes.
How in the world do you start a business from here?
Well, two things. I know that usually they tell people that, oh, don't think that your life is not over, and your life's not over. You can do whatever you can do. That's true. But at the same time, what I like sharing with people is how you really get the courage. And for me, it was two set of things. It's my belief. And the set of values that I got from my mom, how I was
Okay.
raised. And when I say values, it's not about things like honesty and work hard, that's true. But also, I shared that in the book that I had my mom message in my head playing that you were born to do great things. You were born to do
Oh my
great
God,
things.
these mothers.
I know. You were born to do great things.
Yeah.
So sitting in a shelter, you don't really see yourself doing great things.
No, you don't.
But at the same time, it's the moment for me to reflect. What does it really mean?
What does
You
it
were
mean?
born to do great things. And for me, it was what it meant for me at that moment is this baby I have in my hand. And what I saw in her is just the responsibility that she doesn't deserve this life.
Yeah.
This is not the life I dreamed about for her. And because she deserved better than this. And my faith, my core faith that this is a grace to be able to have a child, for God to trust you
Yes.
to be able to give birth.
Right.
And so that I need to honor that. And for me to honor that, I need to step up. I need to do something. I really need to do something. And if it's not for me, it has to be for this baby that didn't deserve this. And she didn't ask for it. She doesn't know. All she deserves, all she knows is she needs to be nurtured and she needs to grow to be who she should be.
Right.
And I usually talk around and then tell the story of my mom. I come from this long line. My mom was an orphan when she was 3. She lost her mom.
Okay.
And when she was 3, her dad wanted to give her away in marriage at 3 years old.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine coming from Africa,
Yeah,
it rings
yeah,
a bell
yeah.
somehow. And her grandmother has to steal her and go hide her so that she can be.
So that
And
she
that's
can
what I call a
be.
value for me.
Right.
And if you look on my Facebook, it's usually because your life has to be.
Because your life
And
has to
it's
be.
something that I promote and that I believe in. That's my core belief.
Because
that
your life has to. I was having
Absolutely.
a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, they were like, oh my goodness, you do so much, and you're always here and you're always there. I said, I have 2 daughters.
Yes.
I have 2 daughters. And so even when I'm tired,
Yeah.
I have to give them a picture in their mind
Yes.
of what they're supposed to be. So that in their dark moments, when I'm gone, let's say today they wake up and I'm dead and gone, they need to have a picture in their mind of me keep still going.
Yes.
In spite of the difficulty. So as you started your business and you were calling, were you getting rejections? And in spite of all the rejections, what made you go on so that today, yes, Bilingual Inc is small, but it's big
Yes.
in terms of the impact it's having? How did you survive the no's?
Well, I'm somebody, it's just not part of my DNA to take no. To take no. I'm somebody who really, really, truly, and I have this unshakable belief that when a door closes, there is another way around it, around the door. And so I just have to keep digging. So when I get the no, it's just that person. No means that, yes, that person, that's not the right moment. That person is not in need of my services, of my business, or what I have to offer. But that doesn't mean that the person next door doesn't need it. So I just have to go to the next door and just keep going and really believing in moving forward. Yes, when I started, it wasn't easy because I have a baby. I'm sitting in a shelter. But I had to go on with what I know.
You had to
And
go
I
on.
had to go through a serious process of looking into what I have that I can offer and finding the people who need what I have to offer.
Because
And
you had something to offer.
absolutely, and believe that I have something to offer. And I always say that um, when we are on this life, the biggest asset that we have is our brain.
Our brain.
Because sometimes you might not be able to talk, but you can still achieve a lot. You might not be able to see, you can still achieve a lot. You might not be able to walk, but you can still achieve greatness in this life. The only time you can cease to achieve something is when your brain is dead. But as long as your brain is still functioning, you can do a lot.
You need to
So you have
move.
to use it.
Use it.
Yes, use it.
I was
Ideas, you can get new ideas, you can change things. And I always say that look at the somebody going to jail.
There's
And
somebody
somebody's
lying
going
in
to
the
jail.
hospital. There's
Yes.
somebody with cancer.
And even people who go to jail, they end up having master's degrees and then turn their life around. And
So what are
somebody
you doing?
survive. And absolutely, as long as your brain is still working,
You need to
you need
move.
to use it.
The book is Going from Homeless to CEO.
Yes.
The No Excuse Handbook. It sure is a no excuse handbook because I have seen your work.
Yes.
You know, you and I are on Facebook all the time. I have seen the stuff you do in the community and everything. And just sometimes, like I said, I don't know about you, but for me, when I go on Facebook and I'm reading about people, when I go to places and I speak and I meet all these people, it gives me the strength to take the next step.
Yes.
You know, and so what would you say to a woman, to a man, to a young boy, to a young girl who is facing the most difficult? Sometimes I say to myself, one of these days I'm going to start a riot.
Yeah.
Because when I sit down with people and the person goes, oh, Anna, I'm so depressed and I was abused and, you know, I lost my job. I'm like, good. Because you are about to become something bigger
Yeah.
than what you were before.
Yeah.
And people are like, I'm like, but there's no other choice.
Yeah, because usually when you say that to somebody, they find that a little bit patronizing. That it's not.
It's
The reality is when you are in situation, whatever situation you find yourself in, you have to look at it as it's not really the worst that can happen.
It's not the
It's
worst.
just a moment, and it's just really that moment. And when you minimize it, really, literally minimize it, and bring it down to that moment, you're going to realize that there's the next hour, there's the next day, there's the next week, and that single moment there shouldn't define the rest of
The
your life.
rest of your
You need to
life.
do something.
And
And
it-
I always, if you allow, I always advise people that one of the things I share the stories like go in intensive care unit. Visit an intensive care unit. You will see what situation might be when you see the little babies.
Yeah.
Go in the center for disabled children. You will see what it is, and then you see how these children, they're joyful, see them moving even though they completely cripple.
Yes.
Go there, and it's really even saying that today is the day, December 1st, where it's International HIV/AIDS Day. And if you allow, I will just share a little story of, I lost my little sister in 2010. She died from HIV/AIDS that she contracted from the hospital where she was working. She was a nurse. When she died, she was 38 years old. And for me, those are my inspiration to tell people that life can be bigger than yourself.
Yes.
If you allow it to be. And how she contracted the HIV? Because she was working in the clinic in the maternity unit, where she saw so much suffering. And if you want to see what loneliness is, you have to go there down in Africa when a woman is HIV positive and she's pregnant. And I always say that no woman should never be pregnant when she's about to give birth. And a lot of them, they're so abandoned.
They're so abandoned, Lord have mercy.
The family will abandon them. When they come to the hospital,
they will be abandoned.
Will abandon them. Nobody wants to touch them. And she dedicated her whole life, her profession, her work, in making sure that these women, they will give birth in dignity, and the
And that's how
children
she
will. That's how
contracted.
she contracted the HIV. And so I usually tell people that sometimes when you think that your situation is really worse than whatever you
Like the
think that
worst thing
is,
got hurt.
go visit the intensive care unit, go visit the disabled, but
And
also
your
try
mind
to
will
do something for
change.
somebody else. You will see it will bring value to your own
Back to
life,
your life.
and then you see that whatever you're going through is really minimal compared to the whole life that you have ahead of you.
Oh my goodness, Rose. From homeless to CEO. We could go on and on as usual. This has been a very short hour because there's so much we could cover, but it's not over till it's over. I tell David all the time, it's not over till it's over. Because we need to encourage the world. We need to inspire one another.
Yep.
We need to keep putting out the good word that we can, that a young boy can, that a young girl can, that a man can, and that a woman can. And so thank you for your strength to go, that you keep going from day to day, and for everything that you do. We will keep in touch. And by
Yes.
all means, I'm not about to stop because I feel like I'm in the world for me now is a treasure. I keep searching for things and I keep finding good things to share.
And this is a great work you did.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And so, ladies, and this is on Amazon.
Amazon, Chapter, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles.
Okay, so
No
here it
worries.
is, from homeless to CEO. So if you think your situation is bad because you didn't pay a bill, go get this book and find out what suffering is like. Nothing is ever too much to overcome you. You're bigger than you think. Keep plugging, keep watching the Anna Edu show. Look for us, look for Rose, look for Pam. Just keep looking for stories that will inspire you. And one day, you just might end up on the Anna Edu show because that's what we're looking for, good stories to share. And in the meantime, we're looking for sponsors to help us with our show and with the station and everything because we have good things to share. So we need your help. You can contact us, alltalktv.com, Anna Edu. We're here, we'll work with you, and we have so much to give you. So be good to yourself, be good to one another, and be encouraged, be inspired. Going from homeless to CEO. I like it. Take care. Bye-bye.